My name is Farland Huff, and when I was a little boy, I went to Shawnee, Oklahoma, waited in that long line to see the Patterson footage. And I remember I had to sit through about an hour and a half of a lot of men talking up on the screen before they finally showed me that monster. And I didn't know if it was real or not. I just was like seeing a vampire or a Frankenstein monster at the time, and I never gave it another moment's thought until 2004, and that's when I had my encounter. And I was staying in a cabin. It's a hunting cabin, and I was by myself, and I just had all kinds of unusual sounds, vocalizations, a tree knock, and so I came back the following month with a game camera, and I set those out. I wouldn't stay in the cabin by myself anymore, and I was fortunate enough to get a game cam, and it's going to be very hard for you to see in this lighting condition. I have a website you can go to. It's www.bigfootphoto.net. You can check it out more. This glare area here is the shape of fingers. The outer edge of the finger. This will be the ear. That's the eye, and the bridge of the nose, the other eye, and this is the nose and the nostrils. This would be the mouth area. The lips are together. This is the hair on the chin. It also has a beard. It's a female. This is a thumb. On the other hand, there's the fingers and the thumb and the thumbnail. And here you have the ear, like a chimp ear, an eye of a juvenile that's standing there. And the camera was sitting on the outside window ledge. And so this juvenile was probably about 3 feet tall in 2004 when the photo was taken. And it is low resolution. It's not going to prove that Bigfoot exists, but it proves to me that I've got a good area to research. And so we can just start working through the photographs and all. This is the original photo right here. Same little blurry image. But here's the date. 2004, August 5th. And that's just to show you the original photograph. This is just another version. I was hoping that you'd be able to see it easier. That's why I put several up there. But it's still going to be low res. There's a lot of flare. I think the camera flash washed all the details of the fingers out. But again, if you get a chance to visit the website, I think it'll be a lot easier for you to see. That's the enhanced version. It's just close up. The juvenile's pretty much been cropped out, but it's a little easier to make out the ear now, and the eye, and the nostrils right here. There's the lips. So we'll just keep moving through. Same thing again. And again. But now this is a drawing that someone's doing for me. I don't agree with how they have drawn the nose, and then they changed the way the fingers are, but it just kind of helps you realize what I'm seeing in this photograph. This is the area where the photo was taken. This is the same camera. It's the same date. This is just the morning after. I don't know what set the camera off. And the gentleman that was speaking yesterday said that those motion sensors look at the background, and so something must have changed. But here is the back of a metal chair, and this is the armrest of that chair, and so it looks like the creature must be squatted down beside or sitting in this chair, and its thumb and the game cam photo is actually resting on this armrest. And then it's reaching out, the fingers are right here in front of the camera lens. That's me, and I'm checking out the camera the next day, and I'm trying to set it off with my hands. I think about the camera being set on this window ledge, it's interfering with the motion sensor. So the camera actually should have taken a picture of something way out there about 25 feet away. And this is a stack of firewood with a tarp on it. That's a piece of wood that's stuck on a stump. And, it should have taken a picture way out there. So the camera was definitely having a problem with it. I'm hoping to get a camera next time that you can adjust the sensitivity on the motion sensor. And you could have some that are set up to detect something 30 feet away and then have another one where to let it come up close. Alright? I'm just trying to show a comparison of how small my thumb is on the armrest of this chair. And this chair is, this is pretty thick metal. It's not a hollow chair, and the back of the chair is up against this rock wall. I think that if the creature was actually sitting on that chair, that's what kept it from collapsing all the way down. It's the fact that the wall is supporting it. That's my son. He's sitting in the chair, and the top of his head is a lot lower than the top of the head of the creature when it's in the chair. And he's reaching out to the camera just to try to demonstrate what we think is going on. That showed how the chair was leaning up against the wall. So a lot of the weight would have been supported by this wall. And the camera was sitting right here on this window ledge. And I had a little rock underneath the camera to tilt it up, and it was just aimed down that direction. That showed how the chair has a little bit of a lean to it now. Looks like something heavy might have been on it. I don't know. Alright, I've taken a picture of my hand with a cell phone camera, and I'm showing this shape right here of the fingers. And even just in the daylight, you get a little bit of the detail of your hand washed out. Alright, here's the game cam photo with the ear and the eye and the face of this ape-looking creature. Here's the outer edge of the fingers. I'm trying to compare it to the outer edge of these fingers. I'm trying to just illustrate how that might be the fingers. And again, there's the same shape if it's right up in front of the camera lens. Okay. And I'm just trying to show again. That's my attempt. This is a photo that my son took when he's on a field trip at a zoo. And I like it because it has a glare in it, like my photograph. It has a big primate in it, like my photograph. There's her eye, there's her ear, and there's a baby that's new. And so I just really got a kick out of the photograph and I'm taking it from that. Alright, after the first night I was at the cabin, I finally did get a little bit of sleep that night. The next morning I got up and I walked to this area. This is a tree line parallels a road that leads to the cabin. And I stopped for a second and I heard a stick snap, really loud stick snap. I looked up. This is where the sound came from. And inside this tree line, I could see something big and dark moving down here just super fast. It was really running through here. And I'd lose sight of it every now and then. And I thought it was still going to be right around in here, but if this photo continued on, it's actually about right here. It sounded just like a gorilla exhaled little sharp-toothed nostrils at me. This is the same tree line looking back the other direction. This is where I was standing, and I was looking back up this way, and it ran down here and stopped in here somewhere. And I knew that there had to be a Bigfoot in here looking right at me, but I couldn't see it. This is a flashlight. I was taking a picture of some eye shine that I could see in the same tree line at night as I was driving out. I think this is a little bit of eye shine that I wasn't aware of that was there. But again, see how the flash of the camera washed out all the details of this flashlight. But I was actually trying to take a picture of something right in here. This is just the top edge of my side view mirror on my van. This is what I was trying to get the picture of. This is actually two big red eyes. That's not going to impress you right there, but I was watching these red eyes. They were down about right here, and suddenly they just shot up this tall and went in a circle and then went back down. I can only see them while I shine the light on them. I really believe that the squash was squatted down right here, and then it stood up and it was trying to see around the beam of the flashlight and then squatted back down. I can also tell that it was turning its head or turning its body and looking back this direction behind me. And I was looking at this through my binoculars, and that's how I know exactly what I was looking at. And the person with me was using binoculars, and they wanted me to kill the motor on the van because it was shaking a little bit. They were having a hard time focusing, but I said no way, because I couldn't understand why it was looking back behind me. All right. This is just another shot of the same thing. I wish that you could tell that there were just two big, huge red eyes right there. So I enjoy looking at the photo. All right, this is the same shot. I didn't get the eyes.
Sorry.
That's all right. But in my side mirror, I did notice there's 3 sets of eyes that were behind my van. And if you go to the website, you'll actually be able to see looks like the brow ridges above these eyes. So it looks like they're just right beside each other or maybe staggered back behind each other, looking over each other's shoulders. There's a little closer shot. I've looked at the photograph, and I know what I'm looking at, so I can tell you what's up there. I'm sorry that it's so low resolution, but right here, it's like a brow ridge and even the kind of the cone shape of their heads. Okay. All right, this is a pole that used to be in the cabin that they would hang a deer on or a hog on for a dressing after they had a successful day of hunting. And it's so tall that even if I stood on a chair, I could not reach that hook. Maybe Josh could. And so this is a pulley and the ropes, and this is 2 hooks. And what I have here is the bags, the little net bags that apples and oranges come in. I have a cheeseburger in here. And I have some apples or something in here. If you can see that little white dot right there, that's what must have triggered the motion sensor camera to go off. That's a little white chat rock. This whole ground by the cabin is covered in white chat rock, and it's throwing rocks at this to see what's going to happen. There's another picture where the rock is now located right there. This is actually a transformer on a telephone pole back here. It's just barely picking that up. There's a rock. And I think the rock's there again too. When I came back the next day to check this out, this S had been taken out of the eye, and this whole rope was stretched out tight on the ground. This whole thing was laid out tight on the ground, and it looked like the cheeseburger had been eaten through this net, but it didn't chew a hole in it. It just kind of absorbed the cheeseburger through all of the netting, and it was twisted and wet, and it was, that's how it ate it. This is another net that I use in front of my cameras. I put apples or whatever I want. It's on a piece of twine, and I throw it high over the tree limb. I got this idea from another researcher that I'm friends with. I think everybody's pretty much using the technique now. Then you just tie this rope off to a tree trunk, and I'm trying to keep the raccoons out of it. I'm trying to put it up high enough that a deer can't stand on its hind legs and reach it. And so it's fun to come back and see what's happening. All right. This is one of the trees that it was tied to. You can tell right here is the twine, and it's just been snapped, broken, like the twine went up here over the tree limb. Somewhere around this area, something just broke it, and that's frayed on the ends. It's not been cut, it's just been snapped. This is an area where the cameras are. This is actually a cedar tree that's been pushed over the creek. I used this creek to get up into the area, so now the cedar tree's been pushed over the creek. This is another area where some trees, this is in Illinois where I research, and this is some stakes that have been placed in an X formation over a trail. I'm trying to illustrate how when I use these plastic shopping bags, we put popcorn in them, and this shows how the bag was torn open. It doesn't have any little teeth marks on it or anything like that. It's just been torn open. This is my tent. I was camped in the Chickasaw National Recreation Area in Sulphur, Oklahoma. I was sleeping in here with my head in the corner of this tent. And somebody woke me up in the middle of the night. It sounded like a stick was slapping on this huge rock. And as soon as I woke up, then the sound changed to rock on rock. And reached in the corner of the tent and dragged my watch out, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning. And at some time I fell back asleep. I woke up again to the sound of rock on rock, but then it was doing a vocalization that sounded like a kind of a, almost like a cat. And the guys that were camping with me, they could hear me talking because I'm talking, saying, "What are you doing? What's going on right now?" They could hear me, but they couldn't hear the vocalizations. And so this was in April of last year. The following August, we were about 5 miles away from this area. And we got to hear the same vocalization again, and that time my story was validated because they got to hear it, and that helped me a lot. Alright? Just showing that there were fresh scuff marks on this rock the next morning. This is an area where probably some deer bedded down, and I just took a photograph of it just to illustrate. You can't always jump to conclusions and say, well, here's where Bigfoot was sleeping. It could have been deer. Okay, this is a tree break. It's typical of a tree break, but again, every time you see a tree broken like this, you can't assume that that's a Bigfoot marker. That could have been wind damage, could have been an ice storm, but I just try to take notice when I see that, and we try to figure out how the tree was broken and if it was wind damage or not. Okay. Again, this is a creek. This is the water, and up this tree, there's a tree limb. The only limb that had any leaves on it was broken right here. Like a little flag. Again, I don't know what broke that, but I just try to look for things like that. Then you can try to go over here and maybe you might find some tracks or something like that. If a Bigfoot did indeed break that. And that's just a close up. This is with my cell phone camera. That's how high-tech I am. So it's really grainy when you try to pull it up, but there's the limb broken. I have no idea what broke. This is an area south of my research area in Illinois. Another researcher invited me to check this out. This is a fallen log. And this is a stick that's laid here. It's touching this tree going on. Here's another one that's the same size, parallel to it. Was you ready? You need to back up, huh? Okay, this was parallel to it. And then here's another smaller stick and another smaller stick. I mean, they're the same size as each other. And then this one's laying in here, and together they're just making an X up against this tree. You know, I just don't think it's the way trees fall in the woods all the time. There's just too much symmetry here. Okay. And then here's almost what we call a teepee structure. This is in that same area, sort of southern Illinois or south central Illinois. This is really crazy to see, but we had a red lensed flashlight shining on this. This is in my research area. We're walking on a trail in the woods, and there was two sticks on the ground making an X. And of course, anything could have done that, but people all over the country are finding these formations like this, and they call it stick signs laid on the ground. So that's just another thing that you can be aware of and try to keep an eye out for. It might mean that they left the trail here or don't go any farther. There's no telling what it might mean. Okay. This is a stick sign that we found in Murray County in our levels. There's a stick here, one here, one here. And it was near our campsite. I put my pocket knife here to show the size. But this looks like 4 pieces of the same long stick broken and put in this little shape. So who knows what it could be. Alright, this is where my game cameras were located in Murray County. I had a game camera on this tree up higher. And here's all of these sticks laying here that are, this is a 90-degree angle on this, with another stick laying in here, and more sticks laying out. Here's another 90-degree angle type thing. They're all just kind of touching each other, and it's a strange thing. I don't think that the wind blew them up there like that. Not every stick that I see, I think, was put there purposely, but this just really caught my eye, and it happened to be up against the tree where my game cameras were. Okay. Again, this is another tree, and the game camera is right here. It's on the tree, and something that put a stick right here, leaning up against this tree trunk, like it's marking the trees that the cameras were on. All right. This is in Illinois. It's just some more sticks that were laying in here between these 2 trees. They're just all laying horizontally. They just caught my eye. And, it just doesn't look natural. Well, this is hard to tell. This is a rotted tree trunk. And this is a sapling tree. It's growing from over here and bent over. And part of this trunk was put on top of the end of it to keep it in the ground, so to keep this bow shape. But this tree did not fall on this. This has been on the ground for a long time. It was moved over to this a little bit to pin that down. Alrighty. This is the same tree on the other side. See, it's bowed up like that, and then it was anchored into the ground. This is in another area, a bigger tree. And these bowed trees were all over the place. And everywhere you could look in all directions, and you would see this. This is an X formation that's near my research area in Illinois, and these sticks are placed in this X formation inside of this shrub that's growing up. It's just an X formation, and people are finding these everywhere. All right. This is just to show some of the habitats. This is near where we are right now. This is a Little River during July. We were here in July researching. Okay. And this is a trail going through the woods in my research area. And this is out looking where the cameras are pointed out in this direction. I try to place the cameras where they're working off of each other, so that if something comes up from behind the camera, maybe one of the other cameras, you take a picture of that. So far it hasn't worked for me, but I'm trying. Alright. This is our bucket mountains, just to show comparison of habitat. There's a lot of cover, a lot of wild game, a lot of fresh water for them. It's not as big mountains as in the Comanches here, but it's kind of similar. This is a camera photo taken on October 21st of 04. Right here, I almost got something. This is just a dark, hairy looking object here. So that's just a perhaps Sunday kind of thing. Here's one of the bags that I have popcorn in. There's a dark area right here that I'll bring your attention to if we get a little closer shot. Okay. Okay, we're trying to zoom in on this dark area here. It's still hard to make out. Yeah, it's still too hard to make out. So if I don't show up here, well, this is zoom in about as well as I can. This is the thumb and the thumbnail and the fingers right here. And this is the corner of that plastic bag that had popcorn in it. And it's pinching that bag right there between its thumb and its forefinger. And it's reaching around behind all of these leaves. Right here is the ear, and the ear looks misshapen because there's a part of the leaf in front of that. And the other ear is over here, and you can see the eye sockets and the eyes. Oh, I hope that cloud keeps coming over. And the eyes are looking to the left. And I'll let you just, this is the black and white version, but it's not showing anything better except for the thumbnail. And I'm still trying again. There's the thumbnail. I'm just trying to help you see the eyes a little bit. It's just tough to do in here. But this was taken in May of this year. And that's it. So I appreciate it, and I'm hoping to get a new digital camera. Maybe I can try to get a clear shot. And I appreciate you folks coming out here.